essentially on our website, since we're a club that requires formal membership, it's not, you don't have to pay money, you essentially just have to have a good quality Star Wars costume. We have a list for almost every single Star Wars costume imaginable, where pretty much just a list of requirements. Pretty much let you know we expect you to have at least this, 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 and this, and this. And then if like if you don't have all those pieces, you know, we can help you get those pieces. For formal requirement, pretty much you just have to go on our website, submit an application with your photos. We just need like a front, side, back. If there's any specific details on your costume that we want you to have, like Jedi need like the food capsules, or even like just some little clips and things, please just take a photo of those and just send them to us as well. We have the judges, like John and I were talking, or John was talking about, is John and I and all of our other judges kind of go over like a checklist, make sure you guys have it. If we see like one or two things that just need to be changed, we'll let you know, have you try and improve it so you guys can get it. If it's all good to go, then congratulations, you're part of the Rebel Legion. So,
and there are detailed instructions on the Rebel
yes.
Legion site, and you know, for whatever costume, we have a judge for that area. I was long ago a judge who helped making the standards. And so just basically, if you follow the guidelines, more than one picture, please. Yes. If you're a Jedi and you have your beautiful cloak on and we can't see your Jedi costume, you might get denied because we can't see that you have a Jedi costume on under that.
I got in here for a second. 90% of denials, or, you know, hey, can you fix this? 90% of those emails are, can you send us more than one picture?
Or can you send us better quality pictures? Can you send us better lighting pictures? Can you send us... Most of it's just photos, so half of our job is, if you guys can do, if you want to submit a costume, please just take really good photos. I don't care if, like, I get 30 photos, because that means I've got it covered. So the more the better. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing too, you can sign up on either of our boards without a costume. On the Rebel Legion site, which is our worldwide site, we call you a forum member, but you have access. You have access to all these forums, you have access to people who make this stuff. So that's a good place to start, is to just get on the boards, get to know people. If you're going after a particular costume, find out who the judge in that category is. You know, ask them questions. So there's really, really good resources even before you buy a piece of fabric. So, just a little piece of advice. Jedi. Jedi is probably one of the most common costumes in Rebel Legion. You know, it's very straightforward. Most of our Jedi tend to look like the Episode 1 Jedi. But we do have people who do a lot of the specific characters, Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, those kind of things.
Jaina Solo,
yeah.
Obi-Wan, Anakin.
Yeah, we have Jedi divided into new and old, so anything that came out of the prequels we consider the old Jedi, the Old Republic Jedi. There's a set of standards for those. Then with the original trilogy, we call those the New Republic Jedi because they would be coming after the last movie, after movie 6. So we do have a slightly different standards between the two. What those are, I think those are on the webpage. And another thing you were mentioning about, we use the term formal and informal. One of the requirements for Rebel Legion is that you submit what we call a formal costume, which means you meet all the requirements that we ask for that particular costume. Now my costume that I'm wearing today, as I wanted to show, is an example of an informal costume. It still looks Star Warsy, it still fits in the thing, but it's not, we don't have a particular thing to match it with. We've never seen anybody in the movies with this, but this one, I call it the Jedi Circle. So it has like a skirt.
Oh.
So you can see it's sort of like, you know, instead of tabards, but we still have the obi and we have the skirt. So this is something that once you've got your formal costume, if you wanted the Lavender Lady Jedi or something, you could submit that, but it's going to be called informal. That doesn't mean it's a bad costume. It just, we use the term formal and informal to say if Lucasfilm calls us up and says, we want you to do this thing, your informal costume isn't going to be considered. Because a lot of times we do have to send pictures to Lucasfilm. Hey, we're submitting these costumes for this event. So, but that's not to discourage people. As a judge, people got real upset when I said their costume was informal. And it's like, it's not bad, it just didn't come from the movies.
It just means if we're asked to do, like, you know, a high-profile event, like doing a movie premiere for Lucasfilm, it just means we might ask you to either wear your formal costume, or even sometimes they ask for specific costumes, say, hey, we only need, like, a Princess Leia and some pilots. So, unfortunately, it doesn't mean you get to do every event, but it's not discouraging anyone from making the costume. It just means you might not get to do all of the events.
But again, we have plenty of events that do not require Lucasfilm permission. We are probably busy almost every weekend. We're a very, very active club, very busy, but we do a lot of really cool stuff. So.
We have on to Troopers?
Yeah, so we'll move
Right.
on. This is my other one. Sunrider actually was one of the first of the Rebel Legion to go and really research specifically the Rebel Fleet Trooper costume. If anybody was at Comic-Con in 2006, we invaded the 501st photo, and we had all our troopers lined up at the top of the stairs, and we were firing our little foam shooters at them, and the Lucasfilm people were dying. I thought that was awesome. And so now whenever we gather for the 501st picture, they always look behind me. So we did this as a group when they were talking about the costuming parties. This actually was one of our costuming parties. We had people that sewed, did the sewing. The shirt is actually just the Navy work shirt. There's 2 of those. The vest is made out of a battle dress uniform. You can find it at any military surplus store. We take the sleeves off, we take the collar off. It's a very easy costume to do. This is, in my opinion, one of the least expensive and best instantly formal costume that you could do. We have people that do the helmet, and it's just really easy. It's all with found parts and just modifications. The boots, when they were talking about shoes, I always say if people like to do original trilogy costumes, if you can fit into the German jack boot, which is a shorter shaft black boot, they use them for about 5 different costumes. Yeah.
You can use that with almost
If you have small, Europeans have small feet, as giant American people don't always fit in them. That goes for 5 different Star Wars costumes. So it's like 1 pair of boots, but you can get 5 different costumes out of it. So it's if you can wear those, they're a really good investment. And that obviously is worn in this costume too. So troopers are fun. The other one we did as a group was the indoor trooper, which, like John said, had a lot of pieces in it, like the pilot, but that was also a lot of fun. And again, we've done the research. We've, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We've got information out there that you can access and we can help you with because we've done it. So.
Okay. All right. So pretty princesses.
This is the part we're not going to talk about it because there's tons and tons and tons of pretty princesses.
I believe Padme herself has 46 different dresses at least. Some number like that. So, yeah.
So we're going to have a Q&A at the end of this. And if you have specific questions about a specific dress, please ask and we will answer.
And for a quick interjection, this is a beautiful art piece by Jason Palmer. I'm so about his art.
And it's based on actual...
Yeah, some of these photos are actually like he took a picture of a lady in the Legion who made this costume and then took like a nice picture of it, and he used that as his reference picture for the pose, for the style, and yeah. Okay. So moving on to clones. Quincy, go.
Okay, can you hear me? I got my own power. So, as you can see, the clones look rather impressive. And the cool thing about clones is that they're current right now. All the little kids are loving clones. So if you really want to bring the smiles to a kid's face, you choose a clone. Armor in the Rebel Legion is a very, very new kind of thing because before, none of the rebellion or the good guys really wore armor. But now with the new shows going on, a lot of the good guys, like Captain Rex, what I'm wearing right now, is a good guy. So it's a lot of fun. There is a few inconvenient parts to this costume. Like I can't sit down. I could, but then I'd break it. So I'm not going to do that. It's kind of expensive to do. Base armor, just without the helmet, can cost around $500. And that's without having cool things like the pauldron, the holsters, the pistols, because I'm a clone commander. Yeah, the mic's separate, and then you have to get the helmet separate, and then you got to get the rangefinder. So there's a lot of details, and it takes a lot of research. So this is probably one of the more labor-intensive, research-intensive costumes. But there's a good thing with the clones is that there's a lot of commanders you can do. You can just be a grunt. You can be a movie clone. You can be an animated clone. So you have all sorts of options. And this is the only character you can be a face character without ever showing your real face. So whenever I put this on, I become the real Rex. So it's a lot of fun that way.